Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to set up a Word document in APA format. So something you'll notice when you open up your Word document is that your font will default to Calibria and 11-point font. So what we want to do first is we just want to change that to Times New Roman. We can either scroll all the way down to find it, or we can just start typing in Times New Roman and it will show up. All right, and then we want to change this to 12-point font. Perfect. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to set up our header. So in APA format, we want the first page to say running head, and then the rest of the pages don't say that. So what we need to do is we need to go up here to Insert, click on that, and then we're going to go over here to Header and click on that. And we just want a blank header. We don't want anything with the blue or columns. We just want the first option blank. So click on that. And the next thing we want to do, which is very important, is we want to click on different first page. That's the first thing you want to do when you open up your header. All right, so next we're going to come over here to page number, top of page, and plain number 3 so that our number is aligned to the right. All right, so let's go ahead and type it out. So our front page will say running head, colon, and then our title of the paper in all caps. You want that to be in all capital letters. All right, so if you notice, our font turned back to Calibria. So we want to highlight that, go back to home, and change that back to Times New Roman, and we want it to be 12-point. Perfect. So now we want this part, the title and the running head, to be aligned to the left, but we want the number to be aligned to the right. So what we need to do is click in between them and hit Tab. If we hit it once, in this case, that's enough. Sometimes if you have a shorter title, like say our title was only Title D, we might have to hit Tab a couple times. So just hit Tab until it's aligned to the left. All right, so remember that your title should be in all caps in your header. All right, perfect. So our first page is done for the header. So we're going to go over to Design of Header and Footer, and we're going to close out the header and footer. So now we want to work on our second page's header. So we'll just hit Enter to get to our next page. All right, so here we are. And what we can do to open this is we can just double click inside of your header. And to close it, you can do the same thing, double click. If you want, you can go into Insert and you can go to Header, blank, and you can do it that way again. That's fine. So either way, just open up your header, and then we're going to insert our page number once again, top of page, plain number 3. And this time we're going to type out title of the paper in all caps. But this time we do not need running head. And then we're just going to tab that out. Perfect. If you do notice, however, our font turned back to Calibria. So we need to come back to home, and we need to change that font back to Times New Roman for the last time. All right, perfect. So now both of our headers are done. If you notice, our header down here is a little off because it says title of the paper in all caps, whereas up here it says title of the in all caps. So we'll go ahead and make this match, title of the paper in all caps. So as you can see, sometimes when you edit, it messes up. So we're just going to come back here to our number, click there, and hit backspace, and it fixes it. All right, perfect. So now our headers are completely done. So we can double click outside of it and carry on with our paper. So something we want to do next is we want to go to our paragraph settings and click on this weird little arrow. Click on that guy and come over here to spacing. So we want to set our spacing to 0. Our after spacing and our before spacing should both be at 0. And we want our line spacing to be doubled. And then OK. Perfect. So we're going to just hit Enter a couple of times to get a little bit further down in our paper. And we're going to come over here to our paragraph settings, and we're going to center our text. Wonderful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to type out the title of the paper. This time, it's not in all caps. And then the next thing we type is our name. So there we go. And then the last thing we want is the school. So now our header and our cover page is completely done. So we're going to click on the outside of our institution, and we're going to hit enter until we get to the next page. All right, here we are. So what we need to do here is we need to type abstract. Your professor may not require an abstract depending on the length of your paper, but assuming that your professor does, you'll have abstract here. All right, so now we'd want to change our text so that it is no longer centered. So we're going to come back here and align it to the left. So now you will type out your abstract. Something to note is that this paragraph is not indented. So your abstract is also on a separate page. So what we'll do now is we'll just go to our next page by hitting enter all the way down. All right, perfect. So now that we're on the page where we'll finally start writing our paper, we want to go back to centering. All right, and here we'll write once again the title of the paper. And then we align to the left again. So when writing your paper, you do want to indent the first line of each paragraph. So here you'll write your introduction. Say you want to include headers within APA format paper. What you'll need to do is you will go to your Align Centered, and you will bold this. So you'll click B for bold, and you'll type out your heading. All right, and then enter, align to the left, and this time you will indent again. So, and make sure that you take off the bold. All right, and then indent the first line and begin writing your paper. All right, so say you have a heading, but you want to have a subheading as well. How you do that is very similarly, you bold it. However, this time you will not align centered. So here you would just write subheading or whatever your subheading would be. And then you would start writing that out, take off your bold, indent the first line, and write about your subheading. So in your paper, it might look like you have a heading, and we'll say this heading is demographics. All right, and then we align to the left, we take off the bold, we indent, and now we talk all about demographics. All right, so now say we want a subheading that we talk just about age. So you'll write age, bold it, hit enter, take off the bold, indent the first line, and write all about age. And that's basically how your headings and subheadings work within your paper. Wonderful. All right, so now your paper is written. You have your abstract, your introduction, your headings, your subheadings, you're all set. Now we just need to include your reference page. So we're going to hit enter to get to our next page. All right, perfect. So what we need to do first is we need to center our text and type out references. Notice that this does not have to be bolded. So I already have a bunch of references already in my paper, and I'm just going to copy paste them over to this document. All right, so if you notice in this reference, our citations are all jumbled up. They're very confused. It's hard to read. So we're going to work on this and get it formatted correctly. The first thing I notice is that this is blue, and we don't want this to be blue. So that means it's hyperlinked. So what we can do is right-click it to remove the hyperlink. Sometimes it makes it still stay blue. So in that case, you just highlight it and come up here to your fonts and click black. And there you go. Sometimes if you have a lot of links, this might be a problem for you. So you simply change it to black. And if it has an underline, you can take out the underline by clicking the U. All right, so now what we need to do first is we need to highlight everything. And we're going to go up here to our paragraph settings, that same funky arrow. Click on that. And we want to keep the before and after spacing at 0, but we do want to make sure that it is double spaced. So sometimes when you import your citations, it'll come in single space like it did mine. So we want to make sure it's doubled. And then we want to come here to indentation. And at special, we want to click hanging. All right, and then we hit OK. So already my references look way better. It's much easier to read, and it's not quite so squished together. So what the hanging indent did is it did not indent the first line of my citation. However, each line after that, it did indent. So that tells me that all of this is one citation, and all of this is one citation. All right, so there our references are done. If you need to find out how to format your references in APA format with authors' names and the date and the title and everything, you're more than welcome to come into the Writing Lab, and we will be happy to help you with that part. You can also visit Purdue OWL, and they have a great APA guide there for you. There will also be links in the description to information about APA format. All right, so let's zoom out and see what our paper looks like. All right, and let's go all the way to the top. So the first page of our paper, we have running head, title of the paper in all caps, and our page number. Then we have title of the paper, name of student, and their college. Then the next page, we have our abstract if it's required. It is not an indented first line. And our header now reads title of the paper in all caps, no running head, and it has our page number. So then our next page, we have title of the paper again, and then we indent the first line of each paragraph from now on. And then we also can include headings and subheadings. And this is what they might look like in your paper. Demographics, and then you talk all about demographics. Age, talk all about age. And then lastly, we have our reference page. So we have our references, and it's centered but not bolded. And then we have our references, double-spaced, hanging indent, no hyperlinks. All right, so now you have a well-formatted APA paper. Congratulations.